Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This video is going to be on the tutorial of production.
First storyline is going to be clicking this shit.
We can edit all the shit out. Okay guys, so when it comes to production, there is the main couple of things, and that is factories, resources, and what you're producing, of course. Now, when it comes to production, there are three. When it comes to actual factories, there's three things. There are civilian factories, and these are responsible for building them. Civilian factories cost 10,800 and are part of the shared buildings tab. You can put a maximum of 15 civilian factories on a building project, and other factors go into producing them as fast as you want to. Use civilian factories to construct everything, every little thing. And yeah, construction. With military factories, if you have an open one, it will bring you to the production tab, and it will show you a list of all of your current production lines at that moment. When you assign a military factory to, for example, guns, if that military factory has never worked on anything before, it will be quite efficient at it. However, if a factory is, for example, making guns beforehand and then starts making artillery, the factory realistically has to adjust to making its new equipment, so it'll be less efficient at producing that thing. Now, because it's the start of the game and you haven't researched more technology, there's no efficiency cap to get to. Once you research more technology, the efficiency cap goes up, and your factories will have to readjust to that level of efficiency. Next, I'm going to talk about research. The industry tab kind of shows you everything about industry, with the left portion, besides synthetic oil, showing you everything about industry. Now, when you start the game, you're mainly going to want to research basic machine tools and construction 1. These can increase your production efficiency cap, your construction speed, and factory repair. Later, when you go into the micro section of industry, you have two options: dispersed or concentrated. Concentrated allows you to have more factories in a state. Same with dispersed. However, with dispersed, it gives your factories a bigger vulnerability to bombs due to the fact that they're more spread out. However, concentrated doesn't give you that bonus, but you get more production out of those factories. Now, it depends on the country that you're going for. If you're going Germany, that usually suffers to a lot of allied bombing rates, it would be better to do dispersed. But if you're doing country like the United States, where nobody really ever reaches you, concentrated would be better because you can get more bang for your buck, because bombers are never going to reach the United States of America, and if they do, you'll have the industry to shoo them off. And then there is the excavation. Excavations, you excavate your resources with more efficiency. So for an example, let's say you make 100 steel at the start of the game, and then research excavation 1, 2, or whatever. You will now harvest 110 steel. And it keeps on going up and up and up and up and up. Factories have a base production of, I think, around 4.5. However, different factors contribute if they can get more or less. That could be on national spirits, stability, researches, and more. Next, I'm going to go over resources. Every single country in HOI4 harvests different resources. There's a total of, how many is that? 6 resources in the game. 5 you need to produce things. And yeah, when you go to the production tab, and if you look at the right side of this, it can show you what resources you are using to produce a certain production line. If you have insufficient resources, for example, I'm currently using 14 tungsten for my towed artillery. That means that its efficiency will recover at a less speed. However, the production won't be actually affected by my lack of resources. If you like to buy resources, so for an example, so I want to buy some resources, I can buy them from different countries, and usually one civilian factory will get you 8 of whatever resources you're buying. However, if you're buying from a puppet or a satellite state, you might get more due to the fact that. Another thing related to, another tip, I guess, in the game is that once you research construction 1, I recommend instantly going to construction 2, because yes, that research slot is going to be occupied for a longer time. It is worth it because that construction bonus is going to be really useful in that time when you're preparing for World War II, because most countries aren't doing fighting beside like maybe Japan or maybe Italy and Ethiopia. If you go back to the production line, if you click this button, you can produce new infantry equipment, and depending on what you research, you can have access to different things. So for an example, if you research, if I go in the research tree, if you go to armor, you can eventually research mechanized units, and then you can produce mechanized units under the infantry and artillery equipment. There's also another section for armored vehicles, airplanes, and for dockyards, there are ships. Dockyards are specific for building naval vessels and also convoys. Realistically, they can only be built on tiles that have access to a sea or a lake that can connect to the sea. For an example, if I was Russia, I can build dockyards here because it's the Black Sea, and the Black Sea has access to the Med, which has access to the Pacific Ocean. But I cannot build them on the Aral Sea. Wait, I cannot build on the Aral Sea because the Aral Sea does not have like a direct access from the Aral Sea to the ocean. When it comes to production, different things you're producing have different production values. For example, infantry equipment has some of the lowest, while things like, now it depends how you design them, but tanks can also have some of the highest production costs. All of your production infantry, all the things that you produced will go to the logistics tab. You can see how much you're gaining per day, depending on how many factories you have on those specific. From like 1936 to 1939, the main thing that you want to do in that time is build up your industry as fast as possible, because, like I said, countries are going to be fighting, so by the time World War II rolls around, you're going to want to have built up your army, or have equipment to reinforce your army. Then, and let's say your soldier is in combat and they loses 50% of his equipment, which can happen, those guns will go to your units. Another thing that's important about economy is your consumer goods. Consumer goods is a percentage of your total factories that will have to go to your consumers, of course. And a lot of factors can play into how much or how less you might have. For an example, your economic law, national spirits, your trade law, or other factors. But mainly your economic law, financial advisors, and other things contribute to your consumer goods. You usually want them as low as possible so you can utilize the most out of your total factories. However, you may want to aim for that 20 to 15% range. Some countries might have trouble getting that down, like for example the United Kingdom, due to the fact that a democratic country has a very low war support, and they can't mobilize their factories as fast as a fascist country like the German Reich. That's a majority of the things I cover for equipment and production. I hope this tutorial helped you, and maybe you can succeed with this tactic in your games. Have fun conquering the world, gents, and also, don't play France.